What about the what about your days as a counselor in that little place that you were telling us about? Because then you tell us that girl tried to frame you for rape, and then they looked at the camera footage and you were standing at the end of the hall,
Yeah.
just standing there with your arms crossed while your wife was doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. No, I've seen some pretty bad stuff there.
have you seen anybody get like stabbed or cut or
Yeah.
possibly?
No shooting. You know, because I mean, we checked kids when they came into the facility.
And
You
what
know,
was that
right?
facility? Did they stay there? Was it like a little apartment
Mhm.
complex or an overnight camp or something?
No. They were locked in there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, they were behind magnetically locked doors.
So it was
And
that bad. Those kind of bad kids.
yes. So I had one time a girl from North Carolina. Uh, she had went home on a home pass. She'd came back in, and of course, when they came in, we did searches on them and their belongings. And in her belongings, she had a pack of razor blades. And when the people who searched her, which was the weekend crew, when they confronted her about it and said, well, what are you planning on doing with the razor blades? She was going to use them to slit my throat.
Yours?
Yep, me.
Is that the same girl that was like he raped me, bro?
No, it's
So
different.
different. Why was
Yeah.
she? Why was that one girl just going after you?
The one with the razor blade,
Yeah,
because she had a girlfriend.
like
Uh,
a girlfriend or just a friend that's a girl.
a girlfriend.
Lesbian. Okay, lesbian. Okay.
And they had broke down a door one day and had went to attack a fellow staff person that was kind of a petite, kind of small woman. She was only like
Shorter than me.
5'4", 3", something like that, and she only weighed probably like 130 pounds or
Yeah.
something. And there was like 4 or 5 of them went to attack her, and the girlfriend, she was pretty heavy. She's probably like 260, 250, something like
How
that.
old?
She was like 17 at
Oh
the
my good. Oh my goodness.
And yeah, she and the other ones came after her. The code was called. I responded to the code. I went out the back door at just the right time, caught them as they were chasing her, and the one, the girlfriend, uh, she she was the first one along through there, and I just kind of hugged her and then body slammed her on the ground, and then that's when the other one didn't like me because I put a stop to that foolishness pretty quick. When they seen that, they were like, "Uh oh, this dude means business," and I did. I meant business. I'm not
Yeah.
going to let you hurt people like that.
Yeah.
That
Especially
you know,
someone that's that small.
yeah, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so then
That's
she,
like me going up to a fifth grader and freaking asking the fist fight. You know, it's not really fair.
but in reality, the staff who found the razor blades, they really did that girl a favor, because if she'd come at me with a razor blade,
You
yeah,
would have probably.
I'd have rocked her world.
You would have hit him with that. Boom.
Hmm.
Oh my! And you wouldn't have got charged either, would you? Or would you?
I might have. I doubt it.
I think that to
Because
me, because if
what
she's
jury really would convict me? I
yeah,
mean,
but
really,
why?
you
Why?
got someone coming at you with a razor
I
blade.
don't think that should even be a question like, should we send them to jail? Should we not? I think if someone's coming at you with a razor blade, it doesn't matter who it is, freaking, right
Yeah,
there in the face.
that's the way I see it. And I told them on repeated occasions. I had a group, and I'm trying, and one or two of those was in that group. Um, I had a group of 10 of them one day. I was working on a dormitory by myself and had 10 of those girls, and they were tough. Those girls were tough, buddy. And they didn't want to line up to go to the lunchroom. And before we transitioned to the lunchroom, they had to line up in a certain way so that people wouldn't be touching one another and starting trouble and starting fights and all that stuff. And they had to be in order and all that. And they wouldn't line up. And I just told them, I said, well, look, if you don't line up, you don't get lunch. Simple as that. I'll take a break and go get lunch. Y'all can starve. I don't care. Don't make me no difference. And one of them said, well, how about we just jump you, take your keys, and then we'll go eat lunch. And I said, well, I'm not, I said, I'm not stupid enough to think I can whip all 10 of you. I think y'all could get it done. But I said, here's your problem. The first 2 of you, I'm going to put in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go first?
I bet no one spoke up.
Then I didn't have no takers because they knew I meant exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And I told them, I said, look, I'm just telling you. I came to work here with no bruises, no scratches, no cuts, no nothing. And that's the way I'm going home.
Yeah. That's exactly what I would do. But
if I have to beat your brains out for me to go home to my family, then bye-bye to your brains.
As simple as that. I don't know why people, and then of course you're gonna have people, well, you shouldn't do, they're just girls or whatever, and it's like those people do just gotta fucking, they need to be found, thrown out, and destroyed. It's as simple as that, because, like,
it's a simple matter of self-defense and self-preservation. I do not believe anyone that goes to work deserves to leave that job and leave there worse than they came. I do not believe they have to tolerate being assaulted by somebody. I believe that person has the right to defend themselves. Now, there are occasions that it's a little bit different. I understand, and I had occasions where kids attacked me, but I understood why they were attacking me. And I didn't retaliate in any shape, form, or fashion. Their best interest was what I was concerned with. Had a guy hit me one day. He's the only one that ever hit me, and it was on accident. He was swinging at another guy, and he apologized to me like crazy afterward. And I'm like, look, man, you didn't mean to hit me. You weren't trying to hit me. And I have no hard feelings because you wasn't trying to hit me. And I think you have to understand. As an adult and as an authority figure, somebody in a position like that, you have to understand what's really going on. Because one of the things I always really tried to live by was I never wanted to accuse a kid of something that they didn't do.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think there's any worse thing you can ever do to a kid than to accuse them of something that they really didn't do. Mm-hmm. I would rather see that kid get by with something, totally get by with something that's wrong than to be falsely accused.
Oh, yeah.
Because if they get by with something,
they'll eventually get caught.
Yeah, and it might not even be a situation where there's any harm ever done.
Yeah, like stealing a candy bar from a candy store.
Yeah, sometimes the guilt of it, they're like, man, I ain't doing that no more. I don't like that.
Did you ever have anyone at the place that you worked at, like any kid, come up to you and like literally try to hit you or jump on your back or freaking like swing at your legs or kick you or bite you or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
Every day?
Yep.
I wouldn't have put up with that. Someone would have got knocked out. I couldn't do that, Mr. You were a better man than I am, Mr. Blackburn. I would not have done that. But how did you, so wait, tell me about the girl. Whatever happened to that girl that, said that you like?
Well, she eventually went home. So, and after that, I have no idea.
Wait, what was the story of even that? Was it because you were trying to tackle her because she was trying to stab?
No, she she was just super lazy. Uh, she she was actually a part of a time of the history of that facility that the kids had been acting so bad when I first got there. They didn't even go to school. They just stayed in their rooms all day long. And so we were in a transition period that we were trying to get them acclimated to going to school and getting in a daily routine of, you clean yourself up, you take care of your room, you go to school, you do what we called ADLs, which are activities of daily living. And she didn't want to get with the program. She didn't want to go to school. She wanted to lay in bed and sleep all day. Well, that you can't do that in real life.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to get her.
Unless you're fat.
Yeah, we tried to get her programmed to the idea that you got to get up and do stuff. And she was refusing to get up and go to school that day. So um, I kept one staff person from that group up there, and I sent my wife in there. Uh, Sent them in there and told them, get her dressed. If you have to dress her, go ahead. If she becomes combative, we'll put her in a hold, but eventually she's going to school.
Yeah.
It's not optional. She's going to school. And so sure enough, my wife, the other staff person, and then one other person I had to come up and observe, um, the one woman stood at the door. My wife, the other woman, went into her bedroom, started to dress her. Fight broke out. I started hearing furniture and stuff hitting. And at that point, very decisively at that point, I waited for that to happen. I decided, okay, this is enough. I'm going in there to get involved now. Because generally, from my experience as a supervisor there, if a physical altercation went on for about 30 seconds or so, the chances of someone getting hurt, a staff person getting hurt, like a broke finger or a broke toe or a broke leg or arm or something, it exponentially increases. The longer that fight goes on, the worse it gets. And so I waited for about 15, 20 seconds or so, and then I'm thinking, okay. And I could hear it, I could hear it starting to involve furniture and stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is not going any further. So I went in there. We had like a kind of like a wrestling move kind of a thing that's called a protective hold. I put her in the protective hold. She de-escalated, calmed down, got dressed, went to school, went to her therapist's office. In the therapist's office, was allowed to call her mother and say that I'd went into the room with her while she was alone and naked. And the police came, or well, her mother contacted the police in her hometown out on the coast of Carolina. And then they had contacted the police in the town there where the facility was, and they had contacted the administrator. The administrator contacted me and told me not to go by there, that they would take care of things in the morning. And so, she tried to have me falsely arrested, but it just wasn't true. I mean,
they saw the footage. They saw you standing there like.
And I'm going to bet they showed her the footage too. Maybe, I don't know. But, it's like, look, here's a woman standing at your door. Here's the two women going in your door. Oh, and look over here. Here's the guy you said went in your door with you alone. There are 3 witnesses here to prove that is not true. Do you want to change your story now? And sure enough, the story changed.
Did she ever apologize to you?
No.
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 Did you ever talk to her?
But she didn't. Yes, absolutely. I treated her good after that. She had a love of frogs. She loved frogs. And my wife and I, we all the time would print off frog coloring pages. And we would give her frog coloring pages when she did the things that we wanted her to do. If she, come to school and done her work, we'd find the most exotic kind of frog coloring page that we could find to reward her for doing the right thing. And so I treated her good. I
Did you
treated
ever?
her with respect.
Yeah.
Uh, every one of them I ever dealt with, same way.
Sorry.
Yeah, I treated them with respect because I mean that's the way to
Yeah.
that's the way really to help them.
Did you ever have? Now, this is probably a problem. This is a problem that you guys probably ran into. Having all those girls there, and some of them being lesbian. Did you ever have any like things gone sexual? Did you ever? I mean, I'm sure you guys had to worry about like stuff getting unless you had the kids in their own room. Then I guess you wouldn't have to worry about anything.
No, sometimes they were very often they were two to a room. Very often.
Did you guys have to worry about any of that going on?
Yeah, we did. We listed uh, kids as what we called SAO, sexually acting out. So if those uh, we kind of I monitored those things a lot, and if we suspected, if we started to suspect that there was a kid that was grooming another kid for physical touch, then we would take appropriate actions. We would move them to different dormitories. We'd move them out of that room. We'd do all kinds of different things just to say, hey, can't be doing that. You want to pass notes and you want to talk and blah 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 blah. You do you. But when it comes to physical touch, yeah,
Even if it was both consensual, that still was not allowed.
Well, see, the problem is, the legal age of consent.
Oh yeah, 18. Did y'all ever have any 18-year-olds in there? Who is the oldest?
17? Yeah. Well, once they turned 18, under 99.9% of the time, there were very few exceptions to that. 99.9% of the time when they turned 18, they aged out of our program and they had to go to like a group home or their home or something. We had to find some kind of a plan for them to be either on their own or at a group home.
What was the craziest experience that you ever had there? Like the most wild, crazy, oh no, this is going really bad, really fast kind of experience that you haven't told?
Hmm. Honestly, the very first day that I went to work, I walked in and you go in and we had keys to open the locks and and I opened the lock, went in, got on the elevator, went up the elevator. The elevator doors open, and then there's a room there we call the COC room, Center of Command. But it's basically kind of like a meeting place, a staging place for staff people. We would have meetings there before we were assigned our dormitories and went on those dormitories to work. And when I looked to the right, there was a door that went onto the male dormitory. I looked to the left, and it was a door that went onto the female dormitory. Both of those doors were screwed shut with boards. I mean, you got to imagine this in your mind. They're screwed shut with boards.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going down the school hallway and the doors that let you out of the building have boards across them and they're screwed tight where no one could get out?
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. What if there was a fire?
Exactly. What if someone got like a laser blade or something?
How bad are people that you
have
to screw the doors shut? They already have magnetic locks on them, but how bad are the people that you have to screw boards on the doors to keep them contained? And I thought, what in the world have I got myself into?
How long ago did you leave that place? Like stop being a part, like stop working with volunteer?
So like I've been at the school teaching for like 12, 13 years. And I did counseling for about 2 years before that. So it's been about 15 years now.
Have you ever been back there, like to see people or like to visit it or something?
No, not really. Yep.
Okay.
No.
I'd like to go to that place and just walk around and see what's going on,
I have a sister who works there right now, oddly enough. Uh, my very youngest sister actually is employed there. Um, so when I left, there was kind of some changeover of the administration. The boss people, the people that tell people what to do. There was some changeover there, and I didn't like the direction that it was headed. It was just not going in a good direction. It was kind of like headed in a direction that the kids could just beat you up and you couldn't do nothing about it. And I was like, nah, it's not me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
Which that place. I mean, I remember you telling stories about it and stuff, and I mean,
And
yeah.
it did go in that direction. I mean, I guess it's only been probably 3 or 4 years ago now that I heard a story about
Spill the beans.
There was a staff person on a male dormitory and had took a group up to the rec field, and some students and jumped him and beat him up.
Like bad, or like just.
It was beat up. I mean they're not going to stop until you're bruised and bleeding. So
That's insane. Like I don't know.
It could be worse than that. I mean, I have been in situations where furniture broke and they would come at you with a board to stab you.
Has that ever happened to you?
I've been in the room. I haven't had one come at me with it, but I've been in the room of other staff people where they went after them.
I wonder what makes these kids do that, because myself, and this is not me bragging or anything, I consider myself to be a pretty laid-back, chill person. Not the type who's like, feel those estrogen levels rising, but just down to earth, just like, pretty chill. I'm stay in my room, I play my stuff, I record videos, I try to make money, I mind my business,
Mm-hmm.
I could never see myself, even like, because I never get in trouble. I couldn't tell you the last time I actually got grounded for anything.
Yeah.
Not because I get away with stuff, it's just because I know how to act. I literally, there is nothing that I do. I have nothing on my phone, nothing on these. I don't do anything that's illegal. I don't smoke anything, drink anything. I don't do anything that would even have the possibility of me getting in trouble, Because I like having stuff.
Most of the time, the difference is made in you become a lot like the people that you are around. The people that you're around the most, you very gradually become a lot like them. I had a professor in college who said it this way. He said, choose your friends wisely because you are becoming who they are. And that is some insanely good advice. These kids came from backgrounds where they had no good role modeling. You, on the other hand, you say, I don't do these things. Well, one of the things that tells me is that your parents have modeled before you the right kind of behavior.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to be told it. You saw it. You saw it demonstrated.
Which my dad's like me. He just stays in his room. He leaves people alone that he has to, And that's, I'm kind of like, I could never see myself even having to be going to this facility, let alone trying to stab someone for doing nothing. Now, if someone breaks into my home with a gun or something, then of course, I'm going to stab them. But that's who's not, if you had the chance. But I could never see myself doing that. So I don't know. I mean, it might just be because I'm 15. I don't understand stuff like you do because obviously you worked in. I don't know what makes these kids do that stuff.
So, I'm big on not allowing people to just waller, in their excuses.
Mm-hmm.
I'm big about holding people accountable for the decisions that they make. But at the same time, I also recognize that uh, conditions that people live in do affect how they act. So, give you a couple of for instances. Um, had a girl that uh, in her family, her brothers had put her in an oven and turned it on.
What?
She was severely scarred.
Oh my
Her
god.
brothers put her in an oven, in an electric oven, and turned it on. Now you think about that a minute. You're inside of an oven trying to get out. You're fighting for your life. Literally, you're fighting for your life. And so it doesn't come as a shock and a surprise when this person becomes combative very quickly.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? That is a different kind of situation than most any other human being has ever seen. And so things are different. And you try to work with that. You try to meet that person where they are, and you try to say, look, I know what you've been through. And I know you don't like what I'm telling you, but you have to understand me telling you what I'm telling you is not the same as, your life is in danger. And sometimes they don't get that concept, and it takes a while. Um, and it takes the right kind of people uh, that know how to approach people,
Yeah.
to not trigger things to make them worse. They can help them realize that whoa, let's slow it down a little bit here. Let's back off a little bit here. Things are not as bad as you think they are. I remember when I very first went there, and the doors were boarded shut. I went on the. Finally, I had to go back down, go around a set of stairs, come back up, and I went on one male dormitory, and the uh, the kids were separated. The males, I don't think the females were, but the males, they were actually separated by race. On the first dormitory was the Caucasian guys, and then there was a door in between those two dormitories. And on that next dormitory, of course, were, the African guys. And in between them, on the doors, was furniture piled up to keep them from getting at one another. They were engaged in an active race war.
Wow.
And so my job that day was to go and work on the second dormitory, which was the guys, that were the African guys. So I go over there, and much to my surprise, there's a white guy, and I thought, this don't make sense.
I'm
I
not.
thought,
I'm not
I,
laughing because I think the situation is funny. I'm laughing because it's such a curveball.
yeah. I mean, you're totally in left field. You're thinking,
Well,
I
what?
thought this was a race war, so why would this guy be right in the middle of this? It just does not make sense. But come to find out, um, this guy was over there because on the white guy dormitory, he was just getting beat up all the time. Uh, and of course, I found out in short order that within a few days he was getting beat up over there too. Um, and what it boiled down to was he he wouldn't shower. He stunk beyond belief. Would not shower, and it was just as awful. It's just awful. Uh, Now, keep in mind, this is when I very, very first started there. I didn't start out as a supervisor. I started out as just a regular worker. And so I didn't have access to a lot of the information that, you know, that I later gained access to as a supervisor. And come to find out, this guy uh, had been his own father and had been in the shower. And so he would not shower. He would not.
Okay, now it makes now. Yep.
Yeah, you see how that makes sense and how the connection is there. And, you know, and you talk about a challenging thing to try to undo something that was done by an emotional feeling that was so strong. I mean, you know, most of us will never understand the idea or the concept of being, you know, as a male, as a man, being raped by your own father. You know, being raped is one thing, and that is a awful tragedy.